So I just got done playing my first several games of the Leviathan Rising event, and I have some thoughts that I really wanted to share today. While I definitely have a few criticisms that I'll get into in a minute, I have to say that this is a huge step up from previous events in my opinion. The mode is really something new and engaging, and with my time playing, it's been rewarding both aggressive and defensive playstyles, as long as you're relatively smart about it. It's kind of this blend of search and destroy and demolition from Call of Duty played in 8v8, and there's a halftime break so that teams can switch sides. With some tweaks, I could totally see this mode becoming something a little bit more serious and even something that competitive FPS players can start getting into. And to start with those tweaks, the first one I have to point out is the spawn system. I mentioned this already in the Liquidators event, but spawn trapping is a problem that does crop up from time to time. I don't know if DICE is able to implement spawns that change position throughout the game like we see in more traditional arena FPS shooters, but here, like other small scale modes, I've definitely noticed an increase in spawn trapping, especially on the defensive side. It's definitely not as bad as the Liquidators event that featured Tactical Conquest, which to me was almost completely unplayable due to the spawn trapping, but I've already noticed in my games that a semi-competent team can very easily hold those spawn traps while on defense if they get the initial upper hand. And I think this problem will only get worse the longer Shutdown is around, as players start to learn the best routes to run and sight lines to hold against attackers right off the rip, much like Search and Destroy. Except Search and Destroy is a one-life mode, and I think this is one of the core design areas of Shutdown that might need another look. As it stands right now at 8v8, Shutdown is a respawn mode. On some maps the action is fast and frenetic, like Stranded, but on other maps like Manifest, I often find myself desperately searching for something to shoot at. I think DICE is kind of straddling this strange middle ground. Often the respawns are too slow or the player count too few to really keep the match interesting on the larger maps. So I think if Shutdown is supposed to be a fast infantry respawn mode, I'd suggest reducing the spawn timer. I don't really want to increase the player count. I think when everyone's alive it would be a little too chaotic, though that is a suggestion I see a lot, but reducing the spawn timer can keep the pace up and also allow attackers to more quickly regroup against heavily entrenched defenders. The other side of the coin, which can also work in my opinion, is to just make this a one-life mode. You can keep reviving as it currently works in the game, but once you're fully dead, you're dead for the round. This would also be accompanied by additional rounds to make the match a satisfying length. Obviously, we're leaning much more heavily into mimicking Search and Destroy, but I think having the more tactical playstyle would actually be a kind of cool addition to Battlefield. The last issue I see is that Specialist balance is completely ruined here. Obviously, they're all made to be in the full large-scale conquest, but if you really want to be competitive and get kills and wins in this mode, there are really only a few key ones that make sense, like McKay and Falk for the most part, and to a lesser degree, Pike and Irish. I'm not sure if there's much they could realistically do to balance the current Specialist power levels, but it's definitely something that sticks out to me. Other than these three things though, I honestly don't have much negative to say. I know it kind of sounded like I was bagging on the mode, but I'm honestly really enjoying it. Sure, it would be nice to have maps specifically made and designed for this mode rather than slices of the larger maps, which come with their own frustrations since they're originally designed for large-scale combat. But I have to say I'm really impressed here, and it's important to keep expectations in line since this is a limited time event. I also really like the cosmetics that are associated with this event. I know Battlefield fans can sometimes be very resistant to any skins in the game that are not strictly a fully realistic representation of a soldier's uniform, but I love the skins we have here and in the store. They strike the right balance of being grounded enough, but having a lot of flair and personality, which is a style 2042 has done a pretty good job of sticking to without devolving too far into over-the-top Fortnite and anime skins. End of the day, I just think it's really awesome to have a really fun 5 to 10 minute playtime mode that isn't team deathmatch. And I found myself playing match after match after match and just being really into this. I really hope it comes to Portal. I'd love to see Shutdown live on after this event, and I think it's showing something really interesting with the evolution of Battlefield. Honestly, in my opinion, I think past Battlefield games have always felt a little bit awkward in any mode other than 32 versus 32, or obviously the larger ones in 2042. But something about 2042's movement and gunplay mechanics feel really good in this arena FPS style. And I could see myself really enjoying an entirely arena FPS Battlefield game. I doubt it would ever happen since most of Battlefield's core player base enjoy the large-scale combat, and most other casual FPS players lean toward BR and extraction modes, but it's fun to think about nonetheless. Who knows, maybe we can see a few more small-scale modes in the future that stick around, and maybe even a few maps designed specifically for that. Maybe not in 2042, but maybe in a future Battlefield title. Anyway, that does it for me, and I want to hear from all of you. If you had a chance to play Shutdown, or do you plan to play it? How do you think it compares to the previous events, and what do you think of the idea of a small-scale arena Battlefield title? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to talk about it. And with that, leave a like or a dislike. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.
Carrier's phone. Recover that device.
Hostiles out!
We don't have much time left.
One down! Woo!
We're deploying you to a new location. Be ready to guard the AO. All objectives are under threat.
Enemy is down! Incoming!
Hostiles have a device active at objective Alpha.
Defend this area!
Active lance at objective Charlie. Our device was spiked. Grab another one.
New plan! Defend this area!
Hostile carrier is down.
I need help over here! Got one!
Data destruction interrupted at Charlie. Good job taking out that carrier.
Enemy infantry located, around 50 meters away from our
Lance
position.
carrier eliminated. Hold like this and victory is guaranteed.
Marking threat! Friendly is down! Taking casualties!
Right at the marker!
Hold out. You almost have this.
Marking danger!
Use the lance on objective Charlie.
Ready!
Took out objective Charlie.
Got one!
Trouble! Near my position!
Hostile carrier is down.
Grenade out! Let me help you!
I'm ready!
I'll get you moving. Hold on!
Thanks, I'm okay now! Grenades!
Data caches resecured. Thank you for your service, Notepats.